Hello and welcome back. You can probably see my son Lucas here. He's 25 days old. He got weighed yesterday and he was £9 15 ounces, and he was born, as I say, 25 days ago, and he weighed £7 9 ounces, and all he's been fed is breast, either expressed through the bottle with myself or my wife will breastfeed him. And excuse my indecent attire, I find with him that he certainly likes skin on skin, and the only reason I've got the blue towel there is just to stop him from perhaps being sick on me. And I've just bottle fed him a good 2 ounces of his mother's milk, and he then gets a little bit of it's not colic as such, but he gets a bit of wind built up, and so I need to pat him on his back, and then you hear him burp, and if it's a really loud burp he kind of cries a bit because I think it's a bit painful for him, but if it's just a little burp he's okay, and he's either forcing it down one end or it's coming out the other. So it's been quite an experience as a new parent. What I'd like to do on this recording is share with you something, and it's about positive thinking. Now, a lot of wonderful practitioners out there who are reminding you about changing your mindset. So if you have a negative mindset, or what I would say a negative polarity, and you're always looking for the brown or the feces or the crap of life all the time, and remember, your quality of life, like mine, is purely designed in the result of what we focus on, then you might want to change your focuses. And then I kind of came to the conclusion that it's not just about positive affirmations or positive thinking, it's more about kind of a broader perspective of thinking. Now, you can't not think, but what you can do is change your thinking. And you do that by asking smarter questions, by evaluating from a different perspective. So in other words, if what you're focusing on now equals pain, and you don't like what you feel here and all the rest of it, then you can change your focus by increasing your perspective, as I say, a broader perspective. So smarter questions about, well, what have you learned? What would you do different? How could you create more pleasure in this moment right now? Those are just some examples. And the other thing I found is a lot of it is about choices. A lot of people who, and they've got to work at it, sometimes you give them a PhD at negativity, or always coming from a certain negative polarity, and it's not wrong, it's not right, it just is what it is. If they are constantly being, and obviously projecting onto others as well if they buy into it, that kind of negativity, then you've got to change the choices that you have, because everything really in our lives revolves around choices. So if you've only got one choice, there's only one action you can take, and you don't like it, then obviously that's how you feel. Bear in mind that our greatest addictions are usually to our habits. We habitually have created, and it's an illusion, our own reality of pain, discomfort. Remember, Buddha once said that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. But for so many people watching the news and listening to it and reading their newspapers, and I'm not saying not to do those things, but they're likely to be bombarding or filling their head with other people's reality, which equals pain. Things perhaps you can't do in places like Afghanistan and blah, 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 although remember, you can vote with where you put your money, where you put your cross, what you're looking at, as well as how local you keep it, etc., etc. But positive thinking in itself will not work. And the reason for that is part of what I know you know the conscious mind, and if you look at Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, there's the subconscious, and the subconscious controls 95 to 98% of our day. And even if you could wipe clean or make positive all your subconscious, there's also a superconscious mind, and that, I believe, is connected to what I would label as your core values, your soul values, whatever term you want to give it. Now, if you are not living your dream, or not fulfilling your purpose, your passion with an open, loving heart, and leaving a legacy behind you, which would be my 10th habit, then Houston, we got a problem. So really, the idea with choices is to find out what you're good at, what you like, what you love, what you're grateful for, and to do more of it. And please understand, this also boils down to this term called wealth. A lot of people regard wealth as money, and that's one form of wealth. Although to me, I could have millions of pounds in the bank, but if I'm not spending any time with my family, I don't feel I'm very rich. However, just as a term or for something for you to quander over, let me leave you with this. This definition of what I regard as wealth, it actually means receiving that which you value while being in service to others. Now think about that. I'll repeat myself. That means receiving that which you value by being in humble service to another. So you might say, well, I've got a job, but you are being in service to your employer, who will then give you at the end of the week, the month or whatever, some money. So you are serving them, and then you are getting something. In this case, the value would be money. That's one way of doing it. It could be perhaps that your employer could give you a day off, or could give you some sort of gift like a car or whatever, because you are a bonus. Those are all examples of things that we value. Remember, we are, as individuals, value different things. So for me, the greater value now that I have a new teacher in my life, Exhibit A, would be to spend more time with the family and to learn more from my teacher. So where in your life could you perhaps create more choices to broaden your perspective, to increase the values or the meaning of the values in your life by being in service to others? That's a very powerful question. And the addendum to that could be, and provide or increase your pleasure. Remember, the brain will go out of its way to find pleasure and to avoid pain, unless of course you're stuck there. And that's in a way almost like the definition of insanity, but it's also what I think is it's what I call failure, which is finding pain no matter how good it is. And some people do that, and you could label them. Well, don't label them. Just be aware of it, because they are teaching you how you are or how you are not. So again, coming back to it, positive affirmations, they serve some people and not others. The idea is to broaden your perspective and understand what your core values or your soul values are, what you will and will not stand for. And when you align yourself with your core values, you and I will find things of value, will find a lot more pleasure, and will no doubt be, or be coming from, humble service to others. I'm going to be stepping up to the plate in the next few weeks to become a director, non-paid, for an organisation called the Association of Panel Members. Now, as you know, some of you may know, I do a lot of voluntary work through the youth offending services in Cumbria and Lancaster. And it's important for me, therefore, to do these things because it makes me feel great about being in service to the community, furthering myself as a coach, etc., etc. But what's your passion? What's your purpose? Find it. Increase your choices and have fun doing it. Don't be too serious either. My love to you all. Bye for now.